So we're back. This is part 2 of the week 1 tutorial for Web Publishing 1, Spring 2012. Okay, so here's where we left off. I'm going to just remove some of these spaces just to concentrate more on the body. So as I mentioned last time around, the browser doesn't care if you have these extra spaces in there. It pretty much ignores them. It's helpful when you're doing the coding to have them in there just so you can see what you're working on. So to separate head from the other section might be useful just so you get a sense of what it is. But it doesn't need to be there, and for the time being I'm just going to get rid of those to give us more room to work on the body. So in the body, type a few things, and if you followed the assignment you can see the things that I'm asking you to do. Your name, a paragraph or two about why you're taking this course and what your goal is. Each paragraph should be 2 to 4 sentences, kind of short, 2 or 3 things that interest you. So let's get started, and I'll talk a little bit more about it as we go. So my name is Al Wasco. I'm doing this because I really like web publishing. I do. And I like teaching it. So, and in the assignment, you can go on a little bit more. This is real brief just because I want to get moving and not take up time typing. 2 paragraphs, each paragraph's 2 to 3 sentences about why you're taking the class, what you're looking forward to after you've completed it, like what your goal is, and so on and so forth. Alright, so we've got name, we've got this descriptive paragraph, and then I'm asking you to write down a couple of 2 or 3 categories of things that you're interested in. So for example, maybe I'm interested in sports, although honestly I'm not that interested in sports. Travel, yeah, I am interested in travel, and food, absolutely. So these 3 could be whatever is of interest to you. But big categories, because underneath each of these big categories we're going to put some separate items like if I were interested in sports, I suppose I might be interested in football, basketball, and water polo. Since I don't swim, I'm really not interested in that either, but that's okay. And just again, so that I can see what I'm doing, I'm going to put some spaces in there. The browser, as you're going to see, is going to ignore all of these. Travel. Okay, so United States, like to travel in the United States. Europe, love to travel in Europe. And I haven't yet been to Asia, but I would like to do that, so I'll throw that on my list. So now I've got, under sports I've got 3 items, under travel I've got 3 items, under food I'll put 3 items just to be consistent. And select my favorite foods might be Thai, like Thai food. What else do I like? I'm not that fond of Italian. I do like Vietnamese, and Mexican. Now we lost that closing tag, so I'm just going to bring it back up here by deleting a few spaces. Alright, so right now looks like we've got a web page. It all looks pretty good. My name and this paragraph, which could be longer than that, and then I've got some things that I like, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to save that, Command S, and I'm going to drag that file into the browser. Let me close that. Oh, no, I didn't want to close that because there's the file I want. Again, this thing with the little tilde after it is an auto-saved file. I'm going to delete that because it's just a waste of space. I'm going to drag this icon to the Firefox icon in my dock. Well, so look at that. There's all our information. But you notice, as I mentioned, the browser ignores all the spaces, ignores all the line returns, and it strings this out in one big long sentence. So while we've got information in the body of our page, not so great. So let's go back and make this the way it should be. So we're going to use some things called tags, which we've also already started using, and we're going to use some specific ones to basically tell the browser what it is that it's looking at. So there's a tag called H1. H1 designates the most important information on the page. Generally, you only have one H1 per page. So, most important information. I'm going to say it's my name. Maybe it's a little egotistical, but in this case, that's what we're going to do. And I make that an H1 tag. And you can see, as with the other tags, opening tag, closing tag. All right, so let's just save that and look at what happened when I did that. All right, big, bold, type, space above and space below. Simply making it an H1 does that. I didn't have to change anything else, but automatically the browser makes H1s big and bold and gives us space above and below. All right, so let's keep working on this. This here is a paragraph of information. So I'm going to put it inside a paragraph tag, which is P. Opening paragraph tag, closing paragraph tag. All right, save it. Let's see what happened. Boom. Okay, there's a paragraph. If you have more than one paragraph, as the assignment calls for, it calls for two, you're going to have two sets of words. This is called wrapping it in a paragraph tag. So let's just to show you what's going to happen, I'm just going to copy this. In fact, let me do the whole thing. I'll grab the tags as well. Command C to copy, Command V to paste it. And now I have two paragraphs. Unfortunately, they're the same words, but ignore that for the time being. Save that, and let's see what we have. Two paragraphs. Okay? Now, let's go back. And remember, this is a category, sports, and we're going to put some things under it. This is a category, travel. This is a category, food. And on this particular page, those categories are the second most important things. They're sort of like subheads if you think about the kind of design you've done for print. And in the same way that I used H1 to show which is the most important information, I'm going to use H2 tags to show the second most important information on the page. So it's these categories, H2, oops, come on. And once you've done it, now you can copy and paste and save a little time. So Command C, Command V. So travel is a category, food is a category. And then I have to do the same thing with the closing tags. Command C, Command V, Command V. Save that, and now let's see what we have. All right, not so bad. So this is starting to really shape up. And now the thing that we have to do is make this into a list of 3 items. Here there's going to be 3 items also. It could be any number of items, but we're just using 3 because it's a nice simple number to work with. Now in HTML you can have several kinds of lists. The only 2 we're going to work with today are unordered and ordered. An unordered list has bullets in front of each list item, and an ordered list has numbers, and it automatically numbers them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever it is, for each item. Each of these is a list item: football, basketball, water polo. So here's how we make that into. We'll start with an unordered list. The tag for an unordered list is UL. So there's the opening tag, and where does the list close? Well, it closes after we're done with all the items, so down here. So that's where we'll close that unordered list. So we've said this is an unordered list. Now we have to say what are the list items. So each of these is a list item. LI, LI. Again, opening and closing. So I'm going to do the copy paste thing, paste, paste, copy the closing tag, paste, paste. All right, so now I have, here's my header, H2, so it's a subhead in effect. I've said I want an unordered list, which means bullets, and I've said which of these things are list items. Save it, let's watch it. So here's what we have before, and here's what we have after. It's automatically indented, gets the bullets put in front, space above, space below. Space above and space below happens because a list is what's called a block level element. And block level elements get space above and space below. Notice H1 did that, H2 did that, and list did that. All right, so just a couple more things are going to be done. We're going to do another list here, but we're not going to do an unordered list. We're going to do an ordered list, OL, ordered list. So that's where it starts. Here's where it ends, OL. And again, I have to designate which are the list items. So if you want an ordered list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you don't have to put the numbers in yourself. That's what the browser will do for you. So this is a list item, United States. And these are also list items. So once again, copy and paste, copy, paste, paste, copy the closing tag, paste, paste. Let's save that, and we're down here now. There's our ordered list. So for your project, do that with the third item as well. I'm not going to demo it because you get the idea and you can do it yourself. We're going to add one more thing to this page, and then we're going to call it done and save it and show you how to send it to me. All right. Again, because my stuff is running off the page, I'm going to make the text a little bit smaller just to bring that all back up where I can see it. And this list, we would finish it up. Oh well, all right, what the heck. I'll make it an ordered list just to make it look better. Kind of bothers me to leave it undone. So OL, and then we'll do our LIs, copy it from there, and in front of Thai, in front of Vietnamese, in front of Mexican, and then we're going to close those by copy closing tag, LI, LI, LI. Be sure that you put them in the right place. Otherwise, obviously, things are not going to work the way you want. So pay some attention to that. Now I need to put something in at the bottom, and again, just to save space, I'm going to just run this all together into one line like that. Browser doesn't care, and it's going to give me a little more space down there. I'm going to put in one more thing at the bottom, and I'm going to just make it a paragraph by itself. And what that's going to be is what would be maybe our copyright information. It's a good thing to put down at the bottom of the page. So I'm going to put my name. The year is 2012. I'll put the whole date on here. It's January, whatever it is, 25th maybe. 2012. Close the paragraph. All right, let's just save that. Let's see what we get when we do that. Boom, there we are. All right, last thing I'm going to do is, sure would be great if I could put a little copyright C there to designate that this is my work and I want to copyright it. Well, if you just hit on the keyboard, let's see, I think it's Shift Option C, maybe? No, it's not Shift Option C. Option C. I don't know, whatever it is. There's some shift combination to do it on the keyboard. Problem is, a browser doesn't understand that. So you have to use what's called, and this is covered in the book, it's what's called an HTML entity or a symbol. So usually it's referred to as an HTML entity. This is on page 41. They're actually always have the same elements in one sense. It starts with an ampersand. In this case, the word copy and a semicolon. And this is the HTML entity that's going to tell the browser to put a little copyright C in there. There's HTML entities to do all kinds of punctuation marks and symbols and other things. There's a list of them in the book, and there's actually many more that you can use. But the one we're going to use right now is the copyright symbol. So here's what we get. There it is. Nice little copyright symbol. And I want a space there. I don't like it so close, so I'll just put a little space between it. This is our HTML entity that creates the copyright symbol. Okay? Boom, we're done. So for your assignment, obviously, you're going to think about this. You're going to put your name, not mine. Write a couple of interesting but short paragraphs. Put down the things that are of interest to you here. And obviously, then it'll be your name and the date for this. All right, then the last thing that we are going to do right now is I'll show you how to send this to me via Blackboard. So we go back to Blackboard. First of all, use this as a checklist. Make sure you've got everything. So, do I have my name on that? Yes. Do I have a paragraph or two? Yeah, they're not very good paragraphs, but at this point I have at least a start on that. Two or three things that interest you. Yeah, I have those. Make one of these an unordered list with 3 specific items. Did that. Make another one an ordered list with 3 specific items. Did that. And then my third list, I made that also an ordered list. At the bottom of the page, put your name, the copyright symbol, and the date. Okay, great. I've done it all. If some of these things don't work for you, no problem. Try them. We'll sort it out in class. But at least try each of these so you have something in there for each of these items. And then if it's broken, we'll fix it. All right, you're going to send it to me via a Blackboard message. Not tough at all. Click over here on Messages. Create message. Come on, there we go. Click on the 2, and you want to send it to me, the instructor. Click on the little arrow to move it to recipients. So it's a 2-step process. Pick it and move it. Let's put a subject line in there. Week 1 assignment. Any comments? Wow, that was easy. Easy? Maybe not. If you had a problem, why don't you mention it? That'll give me at least a heads up on something we need to talk about in class. So any comments or questions, fill that in. Let me scroll down to show you what happens next. All right, now I just see where step 3 attachment. Click on Browse, find the file, and remember I set up a folder on the desktop called Wasco Web1. Inside that, here's my HTML file. Again, this one, the little tilde, is an auto-saved version, so I'm going to ignore that one. I just want the real version, which is this one here. So it's going to have your last name dash week1.html. Click on that or double click on it. You notice it's going to upload it, and then at the very end, as with all things in Blackboard, I have to resize the window a little bit to show this to you. As with all things in Blackboard, bottom right corner, submit. Boom. All right. That's it. You're done. So give this a shot. Send me what you end up with. Don't worry if there's some issues with it. We'll talk about those in class, but hopefully this is going to just be as easy as pie. So we'll see you soon.